just going to try to hand this down, and then you can have your seat back, if that's all right. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay, done. All right, we're here for the Florida Alliance's second game of the Florida Rush tournament against the Alaska All-Stars. I'm in the little bird's nest perch up here with no netting, which is nice for the camera, but is could be challenging. I got to pay attention so I don't get hit with a puck. Neutral zone coverage, I'm going to have to be a little bit more savvy on the old gimbal here, but we'll see how this goes. Florida coming off a 1-1 tie with Princeton yesterday. I had a team event last night, so I think I might know a few more of the girls' names that I didn't have before. And I'm definitely at a closer vantage point so I can see the back of the jerseys. So. All right, here we go. First half underway. Alaska looking for a pass up middle. I'm not sure why that wasn't an icing one because she was way behind the red line. There's a chance for Anderson. Breaking in. Cuts to the middle. Shot rebound. Cleared by Alaska. Alaska brings it to the neutral zone. Have a little bit of speed here. That's stopped by Comiskey. Pinch in from the point. Alaska still digging for it. Visa takes it behind her own net. Up on the boards. Quick little pass. Collision there with Visa. Knocks the player off. Alaska goes for a change. Comiskey tries to chip it out, but a skate gets in the way. That's going to come to, I think the only player I didn't get the name of was the goalie. But good stop. Get a change here with 21:34 in the first half. Face off in. Hugh has it. She rims it around to Muncy. Muncy pass up the weak side. Still digging for it. Quick up by Humphries. That's blocked by Alaska B. Alaska wheel in their own zone. We got a quick out. Hugh closes that gap and forces them to cut in. Ceballos rims it around, but that's going to go a little bit too high and catches the net. Leach is a goal. Face off, quick win, straight back to the Alaska D. Shot wide. Nice little chip up the boards, clear the blue line, but Alaska covers that. So there's a slashing penalty being called on Muncy. I did not see that, so Alaska will go to the power play for the first time here. 20:45 left in the first, still scoreless. We'll bring out Shell and Anderson on the PK. Shell take the face off. Another clean win back to the point by Alaska. Big windup. Ooh, Leach didn't know where it was, but quick clear by the Florida team. Alaska moves it around the point. Another quick shot deflected by Visa. Usually gets a stick on it. This is this awkward angle here, right down below me, but Alaska brings it back in. I'm going to try to set up for their power play. Up to the point, back to the left flank. They're looking for a hole, but can't find it. Over the weak side, shot dead on, easy stop for Leach there. Fell back, rings it around, but Alaska's going to hold that in. Well, thought they were going to hold it in, but it comes out past the blue line. So they're going to have to retreat and re-enter. Alaska player throws it towards the net, missed wide. Good dig by Lancaster, tried to get it out, but Alaska managed to keep that in. Centimeters on the blue line. Alaska finding the seam, coming in, backdoor backhand. Another stack at it. Leach catches that rebound. Lisa intercepts that shot towards the net. And it looks like Florida comes out. Good opportunity with centering pass, but Alaska intercepts that. Florida back to full strength here. Little Lancaster digging for it there. Finally comes back. That's the Ceballos. Ceballos brings it up. He can send it to Iaquinto. Clark tries to throw it in, but can't quite get it in deep enough. Ceballos over to Pugh. Pugh's got some space. Nice pass up the middle to Shell. Shell coming in with speed, takes it wide down the left side. She goes for a little backhand chipping pace to herself. Ceballos to half wall. Oh, it's a shot off the skate of Park, I think. And definitely no kicking motion. She didn't even know it hit her skate. Goalie was moving across to the right side to try to catch that, and that'll be the Florida will open the scoring for a game at 17:59 in the first here. Oh, I know I'm confused. There's two Ceballos out there. That is Kingston Golden, who's thanks to Air Canada does not have equipment for this weekend, so she's using community equipment here. Puck back to the real Ceballos. Puts it up the wall to Anderson. Anderson backhands out, but Alaska's going to pick that up. Golding still digging for it. That'll be whistled down for a net off. Again, Florida up 1-0 here in the first period. It'll bring out Humphreys, Muncie, and Ponzer. Alaska through the circle. Closes the gap for the red line. Poke checks that back. Alaska still controls it. You keep trying to poke check it through. Alaska comes back on a rush. Oh, well, an awkward goal for the first goal for the Florida Lions, and another awkward one for Alaska there. It hits the post and off the back of Leach to go in the net. So on a two unfortunate bounces, that'll even up the score to 1-1 here right now. That's Comiskey looking for someone in the middle. That's intercepted by Alaska. Alaska trying to poke it around on the board and can't quite get there. They're going to throw it in deep into the Florida zone. Visa behind the net. He dangles but gets pressure by two players. Back to Visa again. It's up the Pawns are looking for a Muncie in the middle there. Miski's going to pick it up. Nice pass over. Weak side. Just goes wide. Humphrey still has it. Nice backdoor opportunity for Muncie. Bonja throws it in, goes for a change. Muncie's going to take on the rest of the Alaska team on herself by herself. They get out. Good forced turnover in the neutral zone for Florida. Lancaster digging behind the net. Tries to rim it back for a two. Quinn is going to cycle that low to Park. Park tries to throw it out in front. Doesn't quite get there. Back to Visa. Visa over to Comiskey. Comiskey rolling puck, snaps it wide. Oh, geez. I'm going to have troubles getting that corner. Visa brings it back to neutral zone. She's got some space. Line up the middle. She's going to turn back, looking for Comiskey on the weak side. Good diving play to keep that in play by Alaska, but they don't recover. Quinto on the forecheck there. She turns the puck over, tries to throw it in weak side. Pugh steps up, rips it wide, just right or left of the net. Rim back. Quinto's going to keep that in. Low cycle again to Park. She's got spot out front. Shot on, dead on by Visa. Visa backhands it deep in the zone. Park is great at collecting those. Puck thrown out in the middle. Nowhere to go. I can't see who's got it there. Centering pass for Anderson. Anderson takes a shot, that gets wide. Alaska's had enough of that pressure in the offensive zone. They're going to throw it down for an icing. 14:31 left in the first period. Score tied up at 1 here in Palm Beach skate zone. That'll bring out Golding, Shell, and Anderson up front, and Ceballos and Pugh bringing up the D. Nice face-off win back to Pugh, over to Ceballos. Good shot, tip attempt there. Puck still in play. Ceballos has it down the half wall. Shot on by Anderson, misses wide. Pugh backhands it down the boards. Alaska's going to try to rim it out. Ceballos right there to catch it. He manages to keep it in. And then it's knocked all the way down into the Florida zone for another icing here. Good offensive zone time by Florida here. Another face-off win back, but ref decides that wasn't a fair one, I guess. So same thing, back to Ceballos. He puts it through his legs. Picked up by Anderson. Anderson over to Golding. Golding fires it high and wide. Ceballos on the pinch to keep that in. Good cycle down. Looking for Pugh on that far side. Pugh comes up with the puck. He's going to come in, rip a shot. Shell on the rebound off the shin pad attempt there. I think that's Golding digging for it. No, that's Anderson digging for it. That's Golding with the puck in the corner. He reels back to Comiskey. Comiskey rolls it through. Anderson looking for the tip attempt there. Anderson got the puck in the corner, back to Comiskey. He's going to throw it in front again. Goalie turns that aside. Going with the puck in her feet. A little shove for shove going on. Alaska finally brings it out. Shell picks up the puck, drops it back. Try to go to the weak side, but that goes all the way down to the Alaska player. Comiskey brings that up to the neutral zone. He's going to puck protect and jam it up in the boards. Alaska manages to pick that out of her feet. Comiskey upends that play. A little rough play. I think that's Muncie over there digging for the puck. Getting her shots in. Comiskey's going to throw that wide. Hans on the forecheck. Oh, almost another skate in the net there. Muncie looking for space. Back to Visa. Visa's got a lane there. Surprised she didn't take the shot on that one. It looked like she had a good lane to the net. Alaska's going to chip that out. Muncie intercepts that. Back to Comiskey. That's weak side to Park. Park's at 2-on-1. Nice sauce over. Just couldn't handle the Muncie just couldn't handle the puck on their backhand and just slides a bit forward. Alaska, another Florida. The Florida D's doing a good job at closing that gap in the neutral zone. Oh, a blatant headshot there. And I don't know if they call that interference or body checking on that one, but Comiskey gets hit hard up high. Slow to get up here. So they did call head contact on that. 11:06 left in the first. Comiskey being helped off the ice by her teammates here. I don't know how they call that. I think it's a 2-and-10 for that player. Q steps in on the power play line for Comiskey. Shell at center. Alaska with a clean, quick win back. Florida recovers it nicely. Nice pass by Visa down. Oh, good centering attempt. You can't quite get to that on the half wall, and that gets sent all the way down by Alaska. Visa back to the retrieval. They're going to enter the zone. Few too many drop passes there close to the blue line. Visa's got to come back and defend. Alaska's going to take her to the boards hard. Few picks that out up to the winger. They're going to wave that icing off. Alaska player just kind of sat with it. Easily could have made it. They haven't really been able to establish power play flow in. They get a wide stretch pass out. Visa back to defend. Now with space. Alaska managed to pick that pocket. Penalty's over. Shell back to Pugh. heel of the Visa. Visa spins around that player and then enters the zone. Oh, another skate pass. I think off the Alaska player. Visa looking to center it and get a one time, and that goes off, I'm pretty sure, off an Alaska player. So the Skates have been doing the scoring for Florida here in the first period, and they go up for the second time in the game, 2-1 with 9:15 left in that first half. Alaska comes up on the face-off win. It comes to the neutral zone but gets tangled up. I think that looked to be offside to me from this vantage point. Comiskey gets it back, and she's going to chip it out. Alaska player bats it down. Comiskey gloves that. Little shortstop action over wide to Poncer. Nice rink wide pass. Shot wide. Ceballos throws a low. Comiskey appears to be recovering. No permanent damage from that headshot. Shot off the glove of the goalie. Back to Comiskey again. Over to Ceballos. He tries to throw it towards the net, just catches the stick of the Alaska player. And Alaska bring it out through the neutral zone. Good little pinch by Muncie to break up that play at the red line. She's driving in, gets upended. Alaska in their own end. Still, it's Park with the pressure on there. Lancaster in to help her out, digging for the puck. Alaska finally rims it up the boards and then just going to chip it out to the blue line. Lisa snags that on the back end. Got some speed going into the zone. She looks like he's drive to the net. Centering pass. Hit by the goalie. Another shot on. Rebound. Still digging for it. Alaska clears that to the boards and gets a successful zone exit. They take a shot wide. Leach sends out one to the corner. All these shots coming way wide from the board side. So another easy one for Leach to hang on to it and get a stoppage in play here. 7:03 in the first half. Florida up 2-1 still. Face-off win by Florida. Comiskey with a nice little step. He sends it over to Quinto. Quinto with a quick poke check, put it back in the zone. But Lisa with an interception. She's going to hold on until Park gets onside. She comes in top of the circles and rips a little snapper. The goalie sucks that one up. Faced off to the right of the Alaska goaltender. Clean face-off win. Roland picks it up, sends it rink wide for Ceballos, who gets checked off the puck. A Shell digging for it in the corner. Anderson centering up the Pugh. He rips a low shot, almost another skate shot, but it gets deflected wide by the skate that time. That's Golden. He's got a win. Blocker save. Rebound comes out, but it's bouncing. Alaska throws it to the middle. He's going to just send it deep. Doesn't have the support. He goes behind Nate. That comes up. Goalie's going to lob it out of the zone. That's goalie just Chips that in. Anderson on the recovery there. She shakes off the check, but that gets tied up in the corner. Back to Ceballos. Oh, she actually had the right corner of the net, but then deflected off his skate. Q gets hauled down by two players. I'm not sure how they're going to decide which one goes to the box on that one. Well, that's a penalty on Pew somehow when she actually had the puck. I hope the coaches are going to the instant replay on the iPad for that one because that was crazy. She had the puck driving in, and two players hauled her down, and she got a penalty for it. Well, I don't even know if they've got too many players out. So I don't know what's going on. 5-on-5, but that's an easy tap in for, it looked like, I can't tell if it's Humphreys or Muncy from here. So that was Humphreys for the tap in on the back door off a little light rebound off the goalie's pads, and she was right there. Made it look too easy. Face-off win. Back to Visa. Alaska brings it in the Florida zone. They look to drop it back. He throws back, look for a centering attempt. Shot a spin and a shot right on. It goes just above Leach's pad on the right side. The goals have been almost tit for tat here. That's 4:44 left in the first. It's now 3-2. Alaska answers right back after that Florida goal, probably less than 30 seconds after the Florida goal. Face-off win, back to Comiskey. He retreats back in her zone. Back to Visa. Nice stretch pass. Over to Muncy. Muncy drives in, throws one on net. That just hits the side of the net and goes wide. Alaska brings it back out. Comiskey intercepts that. Here comes Muncy with some speed. Nice cut to the middle. Great shot and a great glove by the Alaska goalie. 4:14 left in the first. I guess this is a matchup of probably the two furthest teams geographically for AAA girls here between Alaska and Florida. Quinto with the backhand behind the net. That's Humphreys digging for it, I think. Sorry, it was not Humphreys. That was Lancaster digging for it. Little scrum up by the blue line here in the Florida zone. That comes back out. Lisa settles it down, brings the puck up through. That is a high stick and a hook, but they don't call any of it. The ref had the back turn to it, but hit a shot right on, turned aside by the pad of the goalie. Lisa steps up to keep that in. Steps around one check. Puck rolls through the slot. Another centering attempt. I think Alaska's going to get this puck and throw it deep. Throw it all the way down. Lancaster with a turn one time. Turned aside. They're going to chip that way out. Ceballos over to Lisa. Lisa's got some space on the change by Alaska. She turns that back. Looking for a centering pass. And gets out. Oh, nice pass by Quinto. His stick couldn't quite get on it. Tobias keeps it in deep. Iaquinta looks for a centering pass. Back Iaquinta below the net. Good pass up to Golding. Golding throws it in low, looking for a tip, but that gets deflected wide as well. Alaska managed to bring the puck out. Anderson intercepts, but one of their own players stepped in the way. Alaska control off the half wall. They're looking for a short side, but a big old pad of Leach in the way. Dangerous attempt there that goes through the crease. Anderson touches the puck, but unfortunately that is just on the opposite side of the red line. That's going to go back down into the Florida zone to the left of Leach for a face-off. 1:54 remaining in the first half. Florida comes out with the puck on the face-off. Visa tries to reverse it up the board. Lask comes out on the short side. They're looking for a wraparound. Still with the puck, looking for a centering attempt. They throw it wide. Comes back to Lask on point. Wind up. Big slap shot. I don't think that was straight in. I think there was a slight tip with the screen on Leach. And they tie it up 3-3 there with 1:26 left. Face-off comes back to Alaska. They chip it off the board, get it out of the zone, but Muncie's going to throw it back. Ceballos over to Pugh. Pugh brings it back. Ceballos out the boards, handy. Pugh chips that up. Little misdirection. Muncie's got a breakaway here. He gets tied up. She tries to bring it onto her forehand. The goalie's going to hold on to that. "57 seconds left in the first half here. Clean face-off when Ceballos throws up her low cycle down the board. Back to Ceballos. She puts it over to Pugh. Pugh tries the one-time attempt, but fans on it. Sponsor on the forecheck there. And Humphries turns it back. They've got a reverse. Alaska will bring it up. 22 seconds left. Hey. So they're going to get called, Florida's going to get called for a tripping penalty here. That's Muncie with 16 seconds left here in the first half. Score all evened up at 3 at the moment. Anderson Shell come out for the PK with Comiskey and Visa. Face-off win tied up. That goes in front of the net. And on kind of a missed play there to clear the puck. Puck goes up and over Leach for a very, very quick power play goal in 4 seconds of the face-off here. To take the lead for the first time, 4-3. Anderson back to Comiskey. Chip forward. We're just going to throw that in deep. And that'll, clock will run out on that first half of the period with Alaska managing to go up 4-3 in the final moments on a power play goal. So we'll return after an ice make here. Here we are back at the back from the crow's nest vantage point here after a wild first period. 7 goals combined between the two teams. Ready to start the second half. Alaska gets that, tries to send it in deep to the zone, but Comiskey over to Visa. Visa over Comiskey. Comiskey's going to go up the boards. They're looking for a goal and looking for a one-touch out. Comes back to Comiskey. She's going to line up the middle over to Anderson. That is going to be offside. Comiskey not quite lunging far enough to keep that 1 foot on side there. Shell with a face-off. Alaska comes up with it and it's thrown it deep. That's going to be an icing and go straight back down into the Alaska zone. Sharing space with the official photographer here for the tournament. Alaska comes up with the win. That looks like a bit of a try for set play to throw it high and wide, the weak side. Visa over to Anderson. Anderson's got some space. Tries for a little chip around, but Alaska player manages to bat that down. Visa, Comiskey, up to Golden. Golden's going to backhand that one in deep. Really can't see who that is in the forecheck there. Must be Shell. Comiskey throws that in deep. Anderson looking to retrieve it. She comes up with the puck. She's got some space. Visa tries to throw it back to Anderson, and that's going to send Alaska down. There, Comiskey with a nice stick at the last minute on that shot attempt to deflect it wide. Visa up to Golden. Golden's got Anderson up the middle. Fans on that, since she's using someone else's stick that's probably a foot too long for it. Alaska retreats in her own zone. Humphries tries to body the player, but she rolls off of that check. Still has it. Alaska out again. Visa's just going to backhand that in. Muncie on the forecheck this time. Taking on 2 Alaska players. Humphries looking for Muncie in front of the net on that takeaway. There's my quick blind spot there. Alaska brings it into the zone, looking for a shot on net. Deflected high. Back to the point. As Visa comes up with the puck. Rolls off the end of her stick. Into the Alaska player, but she recovers. Then she cycles back to Visa. Visa's looking for off the back of the net to try to duke out that player. Comes up to Pugh. Pugh over to Lancaster. Lancaster, a great shot. Stuns the goalie. That's Iaquino comes in with a hard attempt on the rebound. The goalie hangs on to it. Good scoring chance there for Florida. Face off already the Alaska goaltender. After one quickly back by Alaska. They throw it up the board. Lancaster right there. Comes into a 2-on-1. He takes away most of the passing lane. He's behind her own net still. She's going to run that up to Shell. Shell throws it out to the neutral zone. Park to Pugh. He's got some space here. Pinched off by two players. Still got the puck. Oh, nice. Nice attempt. Puck up in the air and goaltender out. Good shot on that backdoor pass by Pugh. And Alaska right back and shot that on, turned aside. Lancaster up the wing. There's a high clincher. She's going to throw it to the far side of the ice to Park. Park's got lots of space. Weak side to Lancaster. A little bit of a catch on the stick, on the skate there, but it's not going to be called tripping. Kaminsky having to defend a 2-on-1. Shot into her shin pads there. Someone's going to take it. Alaska decides they are, but I'm going to bring it out of the zone to do it. Anderson. Back to Kaminsky. Anderson sidesteps someone coming in like a freight train. Turns it back. Decent slot, high slot. Off a skate. Nice little backhand. Anderson had Visa coming in from the point there, but Alaska picks it up behind her own net. Gonna fire it up to the point. Kaminsky shot right on, turned aside. It's Golding. There's a break wide over to Kaminsky. Kaminsky down low. Throws it back. Golding recovers the puck. She dangles one. Throws it out in the middle. No one can quite get a stick on it for a shot. Visa retreats in her own zone, turns it back. Visa goes to the middle. And that gets deflected off the stick. Alaska turns it back. Alaska now brings in. Oh my goodness. Shot wide and below the circle. Beats Leach high on the blocker side. 16:04 in the second to make it 5-3 Alaska. Florida going to have to dig out of a 2-goal deficit hole here in the second period. Lots of time though. Tobias up to Ponce. Tobias over. He's looking for Muncie. Few back to Muncie on the boards. They got numbers. Good rush. Oh, puck just dribbles wide, and Florida can't quite get a stick on it. That's going to send that all the way down, and that's going to go for an icing. 15:29 left in the second half. Face off left to the Alaska goaltender. Humphries takes the draw, wins that. Brings that back to Ceballos. Ceballos back down the half wall. Muncy with the puck. He turns into the gap. Gets knocked off the puck, and Velasquez manages to get that out, but Florida on the clear. Few with a quick up, but Monster just can't quite get the stick on it to keep it from being icing. And that'll bring out a full line change. It's Lancaster Park and I up front for Florida. Lancaster digging that, but Velasquez comes up and sent it back to the point. Shot wide. Velasquez steps on a couple players. Shot wide, recovered, back to the point. He's just going to throw it to the middle. Visa intercepts that. She goes to go behind her own net and gets tied up. It's played by Lancaster to tie that puck up, and Visa steals it and heads up ice. Visa with a little chip to herself. Centering pass. There's Park that couldn't quite get a solid stick on that. Alaska again is just going to ice that all the way down. Take the line change and get out of trouble in their own zone. It brings out Golden, Shell, and Anderson. Decent Comiskey and G. Face-off win by Alaska. Again, they look like they're trying to throw it all the way down. Florida right back in. Nice little slip move by Golden. She's got some space. Goes high and right of the goal. Alaska through the neutral zone. Shot going wide, blocked down by Leach. Visa turns it back in her own zone. There's a loitering Alaska player there, so she's going to throw it up the boards. Little stick tip by Golden and pop it out in the neutral zone. Alaska back into the Florida zone. Visa at the Shell. Shell is Golden. Wide open, but they're going to turn that back to your offside player. Visa up to Anderson. There's Muncy with a little fancy footwork along the blue line to keep that onside. And Alaska's going to throw that into the mesh and their face off in their own zone. 12:51. Alaska up by 2, 5-3. Little scrum for the puck. Muncy and Humphries digging there. Hugh adding some support. Alaska managed to pick that out. Looking wide for Muncy, off a couple of sticks. Deep in Alaska zone. Alaska tries to bring it out. It's a miss. Hugh steps up on the forecheck. That gets bounced around there. And a big hook on Muncy there to send her to the ground and go for a penalty. And Florida will have a chance to get within one goal here. 12:07 left in the second. We got Shell, Golding, Anderson out with Visa and Comiskey. Back to Comiskey, over to Visa. Visa walks in. She's got space. Goaltender closes that one down and holds on for a whistle. Only 7 seconds left, lapse in the penalty there. Face-off win by Alaska. Visa holds it in, throws it to the weak side of the ice. Alaska player there to get it. Comiskey steps up and still on it behind the net. And they're going to give her a holding penalty on that play. So it'll go to 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 5 seconds. Lots of ice out there for these players now. Shot right in the shell. Good interception by Shell. Anderson picks that up and splits the D. Shot on the blocker, Pugh for the rebound, but can't quite garner that down. Backhand by Anderson. Goalie's pad save, and they're going to send that all the way down. That's going to be an icing. 40 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Face-off win. Lisa, I'm not sure. Oh my goodness! So they're going to call Golden for a trip on that play. Looked pretty innocent. So we go 4-on-3. Lisa Pugh. I think that might be Shell taking the face-off there. Puck tied up. Alaska wins that back. D shoots that way wide. Going to play that on the corner. Off to skate, and that's going to deflect out. Florida's going to have to regroup and bring that back in. Do a good defensive play. Alaska takes her into the board. Big pad save and a big rebound. That gets pushed wide. Hugh gets the puck. She can't quite get anything on it on the backhand. And this goes out to the Florida player. Florida now 5-on-2. And they get a deflection in front of the net. Unfortunately, with 2 seconds left in the power play, so they're going to still be down for 30 seconds, shorthanded. Alaska still with a power play for 35 seconds. Anderson back to the puck on face-off win. Goes to Ceballos. She's going to turn it back into her own zone. He loses a player behind the net. Way up the middle to Anderson. Anderson deep. He's looking for Shell. Ceballos out in the neutral zone. He throws it up the boards to Shell. Anderson with a good forecheck, knocking Alaska off the puck. She's still in pursuit. Puck behind the net. Off Shell's skate. Florida Lions back to full strength. Shell in. Quick shot, bounce and puck rebound. No one can quite control that and get a stick on it. Comiskey steps up, walks in on the time of the offside. She tries to drive the net and off a Alaska player and up over the goalie and into the net. So 9:05 left in the second half, and Florida will close to within 2 goals. It's their first goal of the second half here. Comiskey over to Visa. Visa looking for Poncer. That's going to bounce in the Florida bench and come out for a faceoff. Faceoff tied up on the boards. A scrum directed below me here. Back up to Visa. Visa goes wide to Comiskey. Comiskey up to Muncy. Muncy drives it in wide. Humphreys behind the net. She didn't have a good centering option. It's still on the puck. Comes right to Comiskey. Comiskey sidesteps. Goes up high and wide. It's going to rim around, but Visa's there to hold it in. Visa steps up. Which the Alaska player just knocks her stick a little bit. Visa comes back up to the middle to return back. That might have been offside, but he might have called it, but Visa brought it back. Looking for Iaquinto. That's all in icing, and we'll go down to the Alliance zone. 7:56 left in this. Been a wild game with a lot of goals on both sides that probably should not have went in. Face off, picked right up by Florida. Now Iaquinto, she's going to throw that in deep. Alaska rims that around, looks to tip it out. He does. Good body by Lancaster. Hugh with the puck. Oh, a little bit too much for Iaquinto to handle. They're going to get a power play attempt here as well. Hugh on the wraparound attempt. Alaska finally touches the puck. It was 7:10 left in the second. Florida's going to go to a power play again. That'll bring up power play line of Golding, Shell, and Anderson with Visa and Comiskey. Goalie pulled as well, so 6 skaters versus 4. Comiskey keeps that in. And they're going to get a chance to have a 6-on-3 power play attempt here. The cross check on the Alaska team. So Alaska giving Florida every advantage to try to get in the game here. So we got an empty net with 6-on-3 power play. So we've got Shell, Golding, Anderson, and I think it's Poncer there. I can't quite see the back of the jersey. Visa and Comiskey out. Anderson back to Visa. Visa over to Comiskey. Lots of players out there and lots of bodies in front of the net. Visa fires one off some shin pads. Back out to Visa. He goes down to Golding on the half wall. Golding shot headed wide but gloved by the goalie. Shell with a face-off win over the Golden. Golden brings it up high over to Comiskey on the flank. She throws it high and wide, and that's going to leave the zone. Golden over to Anderson. Anderson to Golden. Up to Visa. Visa to Comiskey. There's got backdoor wide open there. Low shot by Visa. Big slap shot by Golden. Another shot high and wide. Comiskey, dance the player, steps off. Has the top of the net open. So a bit of a shooting gallery here. Comiskey, another attempt. Shin pads down low. Penalty. They managed to kill off a 6-on-3 over to Golden. Golden backhands it down deep. And shot in from Comiskey. Beats the goalie on the screen. That'll go to 6-5 with 5 minutes left here. See what they do as far as the goalie coming back in. I'm sure Leach will enter back between pipes. Florida 5 minutes to try to tie this game up. Humphreys win. Goes back to Ceballos. Ceballos up the board. Poncer. Poncer looking to center it. Hughes steps up. Caught in the skates. Ceballos throws it weak side. That comes back to Pugh. Back over to Ceballos and up to Poncer. Poncer's going to throw that in deep. Humphreys and Muncie on the forecheck. They throw that all the way around the Pugh. Keeps it in the backhand and loses it. He's come off the wall. Still got the puck. Turns and fires. Big rebound off the blocker. Centering pass out. Good attempt. That's 2 rebound shots that go straight into the goalie, but good pressure by the Florida Lions. 4:16 left. It's going to bring out Shell, Anderson's, and Golding. Comiskey and Visa. 4:16 left in the second half. Back to Visa. The faceoff win. Visa tries to tap it back on the backhand. That gets caught up in skates, and Alaska's in the Florida zone for the first time in a while. Anderson picks it up. She gets stick checked before she can get it weak. Visa back to retrieve. Visa's looking weak, goes to the center. And we're going to get another power play attempt here, and I think you'll probably see them pull the goalie. So a 6-on-4 attempt with 3 minutes, 49 seconds left. Alaska manages to chip that down the ice. And they wave off. Oh, I guess there's no icing from the power play. Comiskey slingshots. Anderson back to Visa. Visa's got the space to beat one player. Bring it in. Look for a play on the rush. Couple different players in the middle of the ice. Centering attempt. unsuccessful. Back over the point to Visa. Visa throws it wide to Golding. Golding with a snapshot, and that's going to be blocked and sent all the way down. Comiskey comes back behind her own net. She's going to bring it up. Send it to Iaquinto. Iaquinto is just going to put that in soft. Oh, and unfortunately, they don't go for the open net. Well, unfortunately, they don't go for the open net. That's going to go back down again. Only 16 seconds remain on the power play. Golding brings that in over the line. Checks the player off. Penalty expires. Over to Pugh. Pugh looking for the back door. There's a low pass wide. Trying to get that back to Visa. They send the goalie back in. Shell with a quick snapshot. Goalie's swept by the goalie here. So 1:51 left. Try to make something happen and tie this game up. Face-off tie-up, back to Pugh. She gets a puck poke checked out of her way. Alaska bodies that off. Pugh comes back up with the puck. Nice little backhand dish up to Park. Park throws that straight on the goalie and then picks up her own rebound. Up to Ceballos, back down to Park. Park looking for the center with two players. That comes back to Pugh. Pugh look weak side. Park looking to go short side, comes off the side of the net. Goaltender out now. Oh, he stumbles the puck with the puck. That comes back and out. Pugh with the puck over to. I'm not sure Muncie. Muncie gets upended by two players. There's some head contact there. So they're going to give 91 on a hold. Muncie looked like she got a little bit of head contact and got pulled down there. So lots of chances for Florida. You know, last part of this second half here, tie up the game. 43 seconds left. Now go through a 6-on-4 power play with the net empty. Anderson back to Visa. Over to Comiskey. He takes a low shot in. That gets turned aside and they head to the boards. They got a couple players on this Alaska team to loosen it up. Over to Visa. Shot attempt. Goalie comes out to cut that one down and suck it up with 21.9 seconds left here in the second half. Tie up, that gets back to Comiskey right away. She sends it in low. No sticks on Golding. 14 seconds left up to Visa. Down to Golding. They got to move this to the net. Back door. Missed attempt by, I think, Anderson there. Another one comes off of Golding's stick and out, and that will be the game. So final score, 6 by Alaska, 5 by Florida Lions in a barn burner here for the second game. Alaska giving Florida every attempt to back in this one with a ton of power play opportunities here at the end. I think Leach was out for the majority of the last 7 minutes of that period. Florida will be back for another game tonight at 7:40 p.m., I think, Eastern time. So we'll see you tonight.